Fundamentals Chapter 2. Anatomy and Physiology. Learning Objectives. After completing this chapter, you will be able to explain why estheticians need knowledge of anatomy and physiology. Describe the basic structure and function of a cell. Describe the 4 types of tissue found in the body. Define the functions of major organs and systems of the body that intersect with the integumentary system and aesthetics. List the 5 accessory organs to the skin. Identify the 5 functions of the skeletal system. Recognize the muscles involved in aesthetic massage. Describe the 3 nerve branches of the head, neck, and face essential for performing facial treatments. Outline how the circulatory system influences the health of the skin. Explain the interdependence of the lymphatic, circulatory, and immune systems. Identify the glands that make up the endocrine system. List how hormonal changes in the reproductive system can affect the skin. Describe what occurs during inhalation and exhalation. Explain the 5 steps in digestion. List the 5 organs that comprise the excretory system. Explain why estheticians need knowledge of anatomy and physiology. Did your heart start beating faster when you opened this chapter? Correct, you are not expected to be a medical assistant, but this chapter will guide you through all of the body systems that need to work together to achieve healthy-looking skin. Estheticians focus primarily on the muscles, bones, nerves, and circulation of the head, face, neck, arms, and hands. Whether applying product, giving a treatment, or doing a skincare analysis, as licensed estheticians, we touch people as part of our profession. This is true of very few other occupations, and it is an honor to be able to aid others in a greater sense of well-being. Estheticians should study and have a thorough understanding of anatomy and physiology because estheticians need to understand how the human body functions as an integrated whole. Body systems are interdependent on each other, and if one system is not functioning optimally, it affects the entire body and can be evident on the skin. As a service provider, you must be able to recognize skin changes from earlier visits, and you may need to change a treatment plan or refer the client to a medical provider for evaluation. Estheticians must understand the effect that services will have on tissues, organs, and body systems. Recommendations for treatment plans and protocols for a client are based on the decisions made during a skin analysis and consultation and review of the client intake form. Understanding the complexity of the human body and how body systems are interrelated will help you take the information into consideration when advising a treatment plan, recommending skincare products, or performing a service. Define anatomy, physiology, and histology. As an aesthetic professional, an overview of human anatomy and physiology will enable you to perform your services knowledgeably, effectively, and safely on a consistent basis. Anatomy is the study of the structures of the human body and the substances these structures are made of. It is the science of the interconnected detail of organisms, or of their parts. Physiology is the study of the functions and activities performed by the body structures, including physical and chemical processes. Histology, also known as microscopic anatomy, is the study of the structure and composition of tissue. Describe the basic structure and function of a cell. Cells are the basic unit of all living things, from bacteria to plants to animals to human beings. Without cells, life does not exist. As a basic functional unit, the cell is responsible for carrying on all life processes. There are trillions of cells in the human body, and they vary widely in size, shape, and purpose. Basic structure of the cell. The cells of all living things are composed of a substance called protoplasm, a colorless, jelly-like substance in which nutrients such as proteins, fats, carbohydrates, mineral salts, and water are present. These nutrient materials are necessary for cell growth, reproduction, and self-repair. You can visualize the protoplasm of a cell as being similar to the clear gel of a raw egg. In addition to protoplasm, most cells also include a nucleus, organelles, small organs, and the cell membrane, Figure 2.1. Cell reproduction and division. Cells have the ability to reproduce, thus providing new cells for the growth and replacement of worn or injured ones. Mitosis is the normal process of cell reproduction in human tissues that occurs when the cell divides into two identical cells called daughter cells. As long as conditions are favorable, the cell will grow and reproduce. Favorable conditions include an adequate supply of nutrients, oxygen, and water, suitable temperatures, and the ability to eliminate waste products. Unfavorable conditions include toxins, poisons, disease, and injury, where the cell will become impaired or may be destroyed. Cell metabolism. Metabolism is a chemical process that takes place in living organisms. Metabolism converts nutrients to energy so the cell can function. Metabolism also eliminates waste. These functions allow organisms to grow and reproduce, respond to their environments, and maintain their structures. How is this important? Aging influences the cell's metabolism and the cell begins to function less efficiently. As an esthetician, cell metabolism is something you will consider when working with your clients. Clients' response to treatment and response to the active ingredients in skincare products will be influenced by the efficiency and speed of their metabolism. According to Jeffrey Utz, MD, from the Department of Neuroscience at Allegheny University, men's bodies contain more water than women's bodies do. Water content differs throughout various tissues in the body. Blood is made up of 83% water, and muscle is 75% water. The human brain is 73% water. Even bones are about 31% water. Check in. Draw and label the basic structures of a cell. Summarize cell metabolism and its purpose. 4 types of tissue found in the body. Tissue, tissue, is a collection of similar cells that perform a particular function. Each tissue has a specific function and can be recognized by its characteristic appearance. There are 4 types of tissue in the body. Connective tissue supports, protects, and binds together other tissues of the body. Examples of connective tissue are bone, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, fascia, which separates muscles, blood, and fat, which is also called adipose tissue, figure 2.2. Adipose stores energy and gives smoothness and contour to the body. Collagen and elastin are protein fibers, and also a part of connective tissue. Epithelial tissue is a protective lining on cavities of the body and surfaces of organs. Examples are skin, mucous membranes, the lining of the heart, digestive and respiratory organs, and the glands, figure 2.3. Muscle tissue contracts and moves the various parts of the body, figure 2.4. Nerve tissue carries messages through the central nervous system to control and coordinate all bodily functions. Nerve tissue is composed of special cells known as neurons, which make up the nerves, brain, and spinal cord, figure 2.5. Did you know? Have you ever wondered why someone has green eyes instead of brown, or red hair instead of blonde? It is because of the genetic information enclosed within the DNA located in the nucleus of the cell. The DNA determines all of the cell's functions and characteristics, and the data are communicated at conception. A person's genetic code will largely determine his or her appearance. Check in. List and describe the functions of the 4 types of tissue found in the human body. Define the functions of major organs and systems of the body that intersect with the integumentary system and aesthetics. Functions in the body are carried out by organs. Organs are a collection of tissues that have an identifiable structure and that perform specific functions. For example, the heart has muscle tissue that pumps blood, fibrous tissue comprises the heart valves, and special tissue that maintains the rhythm of the heart beating. Body systems are groups of organs acting together for one or more functions. Table 2.1 lists the body systems as well as some of the most important organs of the body whose functioning affects the integrity of the skin. Table 2.1. Integumentary system. Function, largest organ of the body, first line of defense against infection and water loss, regulates temperature, perceives sensation, produces vitamin D, and has absorption capabilities. Organs, skin and accessory organs such as oil and sweat glands, sensory receptors, hair, and nails. Why know this? As skin is the largest organ in the body, learning its functions and the work of the accessory organs is a critical component in a skincare therapist's success. Skeletal system. Functions, forms the physical foundation of the body, consists of the bones and movable and immovable joints. Organs, bones. Why know this? Important for protecting your own body mechanics when working, as well as knowing physical landmarks when providing treatments, including makeup applications. Muscular system. Functions, covers, shapes, and supports the skeletal tissue, also contracts and moves various parts of the body, consists of muscles. Organs, muscles. Why know this? Important when doing massage and performing electrical treatments such as microcurrent. Also important to understand muscle movement to prevent repetitive motion fatigue when you are performing treatments. Nervous system. Functions, carries messages through the central nervous system, controlling and coordinating all bodily functions. Organs, brain, spinal cord, nerves. Why know this? Need to know the location of the facial nerves and their actions when performing treatments. Nerves control the muscle movements of the face. Circulatory system. Functions, controls the steady delivery of the blood through the body, works with the lymphatic channels. Organs, heart with blood vessels. Why know this? Health of the circulatory system affects skin tissue health. Circulatory issues are often contraindications and precautions to treatments. When performing body wraps, for example, understanding which direction to wrap is essential for a good outcome, or an adverse event can occur. Immune/lymphatic system. Functions, protects the body from disease by developing resistance and destroying disease-causing toxins, foreign material, and bacteria. Organs, spleen, lymph. Why know this? Many treatments require action from the lymphatic system, including performing lymphatic massage. Endocrine system. Functions, affects growth, development, sexual activities, and normal regulatory processes of the body, consists of specialized glands. Organs, adrenal gland, pituitary gland, pancreas. Why know this? Hormones excreted by the endocrine system have a significant effect on the skin, and an understanding of that functioning will help when recognizing the need to refer a client for a medical evaluation. Acne breakouts, hair growth, and skin oiliness or dryness are a few. Reproductive system. Functions, performs the function of producing children and passing on our genetics from one generation to another, differentiates between the sexes. Organs, uterus, ovaries, penis, testes. Why know this? The reproductive system and hormonal influences accompanying puberty, pregnancy, perimenopause, and menopause make significant demands on the skin that require knowledge in order to provide a skincare treatment. Respiratory system. Functions, enables breathing, supplies the body with oxygen, and eliminates carbon dioxide as a waste product. Organs, lungs, trachea, bronchi. Why know this? Adequate oxygenation of the tissue allows optimum cell functioning. Possibility of the respiratory spread of infection affects safety and cleanliness. Digestive. Functions, breaks down food into smaller and smaller particles to absorb nutrients or for excretion. Organs, esophagus, stomach, gallbladder, liver, small and large intestines. Why know this? Good nutrition allows optimum functioning of all body systems. Excretory. Functions, refers to elimination of waste matter. Organs, kidneys, bladder. Why know this? Functions to eliminate toxic substances that can affect other body system functions. Check in. What are organs? Name the body systems and their main functions. Explain why knowledge of each body system is important to aesthetics. List the 5 accessory organs to the skin. The integumentary system is made up of the skin and its various accessory organs, such as sensory receptors, hair, nails, and the oil and sweat glands, also called exocrine glands, figure 2.6. Skin anatomy and physiology are discussed in detail in Chapter 3, physiology and histology of the skin. Skin anatomy. The word integument means a natural covering. So, you can think of the skin as a protective overcoat for your body against the outside elements that you encounter every day, such as germs, chemicals, and sun exposure. Check in. Name 5 accessory organs to the skin. Identify the 5 functions of the skeletal system. The skeletal system forms the physical foundation of the body. How is this important? As an esthetician, an understanding of the skeletal system is important when you are performing makeup applications. Certain treatments may require you to treat the ocular ridge. It is essential that you know the location of the anatomy. Some states do not allow estheticians to perform treatments beyond the 7th cervical vertebrae, for example. Additionally, to understand how to protect your own body by using proper body mechanics when you work. The number of bones and composition. The adult skeleton has 206 bones that form a rigid framework to which the softer tissues and organs of the body are encased and acts as anchor points for muscles and ligaments to provide support for movement. Muscles are connected to bones by tendons. Bones are connected to each other by ligaments, figure 2:7. The bone tissue is composed of several types of bone cells embedded in a web of inorganic salts, mostly calcium and phosphorus, and collagenous fibers. The web gives the bone strength, and the fibers give the bone flexibility. The place where bones meet one another is typically called a joint. A joint is the connection between 2 or more bones of the skeleton. There are 2 types of joints, movable, such as elbows, knees, and hips, and immovable, such as the pelvis and skull, which allow little or no movement. Functions. The primary functions of the skeletal system are to give shape and support to the body, protect various internal structures and organs, serve as attachments for muscles and act as levers to produce body movement, help produce both white and red blood cells, one of the functions of bone marrow, store most of the body's calcium supply as well as phosphorus, magnesium, and sodium. Did you know? People often complain of joint pain. However, the pain is usually caused by inflammation of the tissue surrounding the joint and not by the joint itself. You have over 230 movable and semi-movable joints in your body. Bones of the skull. The human head contains 22 bones divided into 2 groups, the cranium and the facial bones. The cranium is an oval, bony case that protects the brain, and it is formed by 8 bones. The face consists of 14 bones, including the maxilla, upper jaw, and mandible, lower jaw. Small openings in the skull allow the cranial nerves to extend to various locations on the head. Bones of the cranium. The cranium is made up of 8 bones, figure 2:8a. The occipital bone forms the back of the skull above the nape. The 2 parietal bones form the sides and crown, top, of the cranium. The frontal bone forms the forehead. The 2 temporal bones form the sides of the head in the ear region. The ethmoid bone is the light, spongy bone between the eye sockets that forms part of the nasal cavities. The sphenoid bone forms the sides of the eye socket. The ethmoid and sphenoid bones are not affected when performing services or giving a massage. Bones of the face. The bones of the face that estheticians need to know include figure 2:8b. 2 nasal bones form the bridge of the nose. 2 lacrimal bones, the smallest and most fragile bones of the face, are situated at the front inside part of the eye socket. 2 zygomatic bones, also known as malar bones or cheekbones, form the prominence of the cheeks. 2 maxillae bones form the upper jaw. The mandible forms the lower jawbone, the largest and strongest bone of the face. Bones of the neck. The main bones of the neck are the following, figure 2:9. Hyoid bone, a U-shaped bone at the base of the tongue that supports the tongue and its muscles. Cervical vertebrae, the 7 bones of the top part of the vertebral column located in the neck region. Bones of the chest. Bones of the chest are important when performing full-body treatments, such as body wraps, figure 2:10, as well as for massage that will include touching the sternum, scapula, and clavicle as body reference landmarks. The bones of the trunk or torso include thorax, the chest or pulmonary trunk consisting of the sternum, ribs, and thoracic vertebrae. It is an elastic, bony cage that serves as a protective framework for the heart, lungs, and other internal organs. Ribs, 12 pairs of bones forming the wall of the thorax. Scapula, also known as shoulder blade, the large, flat, triangular bone of the shoulder. There are 2 scapulae. Sternum, also known as breastbone, the flat bone that forms the ventral, front, support of the ribs. Clavicle, also known as collarbone, the bone that joins the sternum and scapula. Bones of the arms and hands. The important bones of the arms and hands are as follows, Figure 2:11. The humerus is the uppermost and largest bone of the arm, extending from the elbow to the shoulder. The ulna is the inner and larger bone of the forearm, lower arm, attached to the wrist and located on the side of the little finger. The radius is the smaller bone in the forearm on the same side as the thumb. The carpus, also known as wrist, is a flexible joint composed of 8 small, irregular bones, carpals, held together by ligaments. The metacarpus, also known as palm, consists of 5 long, slender bones called metacarpal bones. The phalanges, also known as digits, are the bones in the fingers, 3 in each finger and 2 in each thumb, totaling 14 bones. Check in. List the primary functions of the skeletal system. Identify the bones in the skull, cranium, face, neck, chest, and arms and hands and their location. Recognize the muscles involved in aesthetic massage. The muscular system covers, shapes, and supports the skeletal tissue. Muscles are fibrous tissues with the ability to stretch and contract according to the demands of the body's movements. This system can contract and move various parts of the body. How is this important? An esthetician will need familiarity with muscles for a number of reasons. Aesthetic massage involves manipulating the muscles of the face, neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Many treatments using electrical modalities involve an understanding of the muscle's movements in order to achieve the desired result. Your posture and positioning during treatments will require you to demonstrate good body mechanics in order to prevent muscle fatigue. The number of muscles and composition. The human body has over 630 muscles, which are responsible for approximately 40% of the body's weight. Out of the over 630 muscles, 30 are facial muscles. There are 3 types of muscle tissue. Skeletal, or voluntary muscles contract with conscious thought. Smooth, or involuntary muscles are not under conscious control. Cardiac muscles are specific to heart function and are not under conscious control. Estheticians work with skeletal, or voluntary, muscles. These are the muscles attached to bones and are controlled by thought processes. Nerve impulses trigger a reaction from the muscle, which contracts, moving the bone or joint it is associated with. A skeletal or voluntary muscle has 3 parts, Figure 2:12. The origin is the more fixed part of the muscle closest to the skeleton, which flexes but remains stationary, does not move. The belly is the middle part of the muscle. The insertion is the part of the muscle that is the movable attachment and farthest from the skeleton. Pressure in massage is usually directed from the insertion to the origin. Muscle tissue can be positively influenced during an aesthetic treatment by massage, hand or mechanical vibrations. Electrical therapy current, see Chapter 10, Facial Devices and Technology, for additional information on high-frequency current, galvanic current, or microcurrent. Light rays, infrared light, light-emitting diode, LED. Dry heat, heating lamps or heating caps. Moist heat, steamers or moderately warm steam towels. Muscles of the scalp. There are 4 muscles of the scalp, frontalis, occipitalis, and 2 temporalis on the sides, Figure 2:13a. The esthetician is most concerned about the frontalis, the scalp muscle that raises the eyebrows, draws the scalp forward, and causes wrinkles in the forehead. The epicranius, also known as the occipitofrontalis, is a broad muscle that covers the top of the skull. It has two parts, occipitalis and frontalis. The occipitalis, the back of the epicranius, is the muscle that draws the scalp backward. Muscles of the eyebrow. Muscles of the eyebrow include the following, Figure 2, 13b. The corrugator is the muscle located beneath the frontalis and orbicularis oculi. It draws the eyebrow down and wrinkles the forehead vertically. The orbicularis oculi is the ring muscle of the eye socket. It closes the eyes. The levator palpebrae superioris muscle controls the eyelid and can be easily damaged during makeup application. Did you know? The corrugator and the procerus are called the glabella. These are the muscles that are often injected with the neuromodulator, Botox registered, to stop frowning. A neuromodulator inhibits a muscle's movements. Muscles of the nose. Figure 2, 13b also shows the two primary muscles of the nose. The procerus lowers the eyebrows and causes wrinkles across the bridge of the nose. The nasalis is a two-part muscle that covers the nose and includes the transverse part and the alar part, which flare the nostrils. Muscles of the mouth. The following are important muscles of the mouth, see Figure 2, 13b. The buccinator is the thin, flat muscle of the cheek between the upper and lower jaw that compresses the cheeks and expels air between the lips, as in when blowing a whistle. The triangularis, also known as the depressor anguli oris, is the muscle extending alongside the chin that pulls down the corners of the mouth. The mentalis is the muscle that elevates the lower lip and raises and wrinkles the skin of the chin. The orbicularis oris is the flat band around the upper and lower lips that compresses, contracts, puckers, and wrinkles the lips. Levator anguli oris is a muscle associated with smiling. The risorius is the muscle that draws the corners of the mouth out and back when grinning. Levator labii superioris is a muscle associated with lifting the wings of the nose and upper lip. It is sometimes called the quadratus labii superioris. Zygomaticus major and minor are muscles extending from the zygomatic bone to the angle of the mouth that elevates the lip, as in laughing. Muscles of mastication, chewing. The main muscles of mastication coordinate to open and close the mouth and bring the jaw forward or backward. These muscles are sometimes referred to as the chewing muscles. The esthetician needs to know the location of these muscles when performing facial massage and electrical modality treatments. Masseter. Temporalis. Muscles of the ear. The three muscles of the ear are called the auricularis muscles. They work together to move the ear upward, forward or backward, Figure 2, 14. Muscles of the neck. Muscles of the neck include the following, Figure 2, 15. The platysma is a broad muscle extending from the chest and shoulder muscles to the side of the chin. It is responsible for lowering the lower jaw and lip. The sternocleidomastoid is the muscle extending alongside of the neck from the ear to the collarbone. It acts to rotate the head from side to side and up and down. Muscles that attach the arms to the body. Muscles attaching the arms to the body include the following. The latissimus dorsal is a large, flat, triangular muscle that covers the lower back. It comes up from the lower half of the vertebral column and iliac crest, hip bone, and narrows to a rounded tendon attached to the front of the upper part of the humerus, Figure 2, 16. The pectoralis major and pectoralis minor are muscles of the chest that assist the swinging movements of the arm. Muscles of the shoulder and arm. Here are the principal muscles of the shoulders and upper arms, Figure 2, 16. The trapezius muscle covers the back of the neck, shoulders, and upper and middle region of the back, shrugs shoulders, and stabilizes the scapula. The biceps muscles produce the contour of the front and inner side of the upper arm. They lift the forearm, flex the elbow, and turn the palms outward. The deltoid is a large, triangular muscle covering the shoulder joint that allows the arm to extend outward and to the side of the body. The triceps is a large muscle that covers the entire back of the upper arm and extends the forearm. Muscles of the forearm. The forearm is made up of a series of muscles and strong tendons. As an esthetician, you will be concerned with the muscles of the forearm so you can ensure you use good body mechanics when performing treatments. In addition, you may also be performing some hand and forearm massage during a relaxing facial session. Muscles of the hand. The hand is one of the most complex parts of the body, with many small muscles that overlap from joint to joint, providing flexibility and strength to open and close the hand and fingers. Massage can help relax and maintain the pliability of these muscles. Muscle movements. Important muscle movements to know include the following. Figure 2:17. Abduction, muscles that draw a body part, such as a finger, arm, or toe, away from the midline of the body or of an extremity. In the hand, abduction separates the fingers. Adduction, muscles that draw a body part, such as a finger, arm, or toe, inward toward the median axis of the body or of an extremity. In the hand, adduction draws the fingers together. Flexion is when muscles move to pull the body part toward the core of the body, such as when the biceps of the arm are activated toward the body. Extension is when muscles straighten. When the wrist, hand, and fingers form a straight line, for example. Pronate is when muscles turn inward. For example, when the palm faces downward. Supinate is when muscles rotate. For example, in the forearm, the radius turns outward and the palm upward. Check in. List the primary functions of the muscular system. Name the 3 parts of a voluntary muscle. Identify how muscle tissue can be positively influenced in an aesthetic treatment. Identify and explain the muscles of each of these areas of anatomy. Scalp, eyebrow, ear, nose, mouth, chewing, neck. Identify and explain the muscles of each of these areas. Muscles that attach the arms to the body. Muscles of the shoulder and arm. What do the muscles of the hand do? Identify and explain the functions of abduction, adduction, flexion, extension, supination, pronation. Describe the 3 nerve branches of the head, neck, and face essential for performing facial treatments. The nervous system is an exceptionally well-organized system that is responsible for coordinating all the many activities that are performed by the body. Every square inch, 2.5 square centimeters, of the human body is supplied with fine fibers known as nerves. There are over 100 billion nerve cells, known as neurons, in the body. The scientific study of the structure, function, and pathology of the nervous system is known as neurology. How is this important? Understanding the sensory nerve functions of the skin and the power of touch will enhance your career. An understanding of how nerves work will help you perform massage more proficiently and understand the effects of treatments on the body as a whole. Divisions of the nervous system. The nervous system is divided into 3 main subdivisions, Figure 2:18. The central nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, spinal nerves, and cranial nerves. It controls consciousness and many mental activities, involuntary functions of the 5 senses, seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, and tasting, and voluntary muscle actions, including all body movements and facial expressions. The peripheral nervous system is a system of nerves that connects the peripheral, outer, parts of the body to the central nervous system. It has both sensory and motor nerves. Its function is to carry impulses, or messages, to and from the central nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that controls the involuntary muscles. It regulates the action of the smooth muscles, glands, blood vessels, heart, and breathing. The brain and spinal cord. The brain is the largest and most complex mass of nerve tissue in the body. The brain is contained in the cranium and controls sensation, muscles, and glandular activity. It sends and receives messages through 12 pairs of cranial nerves that reach various parts of the head, face, and neck, Figure 2:19. The brainstem connects the spinal cord to the brain. The brainstem is involved in regulating such vital functions as breathing, heartbeat, and blood pressure. The spinal cord is a continuation of the brain stem and originates in the brain, extends down to the lower extremity of the trunk, and is protected by the spinal column. 31 pairs of spinal nerves extending from the spinal cord are distributed to the muscles and skin of the trunk and limbs. Nerve cell structure and function. Nerves are whitish cords, made up of bundles of nerve fibers held together by connective tissue, through which impulses are transmitted. Nerves originate in the brain and spinal cord, and their branches extend to all parts of the body. Types of nerves. There are two types of nerves. Sensory nerves carry impulses or messages from the sense organs to the brain, where sensations such as touch, cold, heat, sight, hearing, taste, smell, pain, and pressure are experienced. Sensory nerve endings called receptors are located close to the surface of the skin. As impulses pass from the sensory nerves to the brain and back through the motor nerves to the muscles, a complete circuit is established, resulting in movement of the muscles. Motor nerves carry impulses from the brain to the muscles or glands. These transmitted impulses produce movement. A reflex is an automatic nerve reaction to a stimulus that involves the movement of an impulse from a sensory receptor along the sensory nerve to the spinal cord and a responsive impulse back along a motor neuron to a muscle, causing a reaction, example, the quick removal of the hand from a hot object. Reflexes do not have to be learned, they are automatic. Nerves of the head, face, and neck. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves arising at the base of the brain and the brainstem. The cranial nerves activate the muscles and sensory structure of the head and neck, including skin, membranes, eyes, and ears, figure 2.20. Estheticians are primarily concerned with nerves V, 7, and 11, and each one has several branches, figure 2.21. The largest of the cranial nerves is the fifth cranial nerve, also known as the trifacial or trigeminal nerve. It is the chief sensory nerve of the face, and it serves as the motor nerve of the muscles that control chewing. It consists of 3 branches. The ophthalmic nerve affects the skin of the forehead, upper eyelids, and interior portion of the scalp, orbit, eyeball, and nasal passage. The mandibular nerve affects the muscles of the chin and lower lip. The maxillary nerve affects the upper part of the face. The following branches of the fifth cranial nerve are affected by facial or lymphatic massage. The auriculotemporal nerve affects the external ear and skin above the temple, up to the top of the skull. The infraorbital nerve affects the skin of the lower eyelid, side of the nose, upper lip, and mouth. The infratrochlear nerve affects the membrane and skin of the nose. The mental nerve affects the skin of the lower lip and chin. The nasal nerve affects the point and lower side of the nose. The supraorbital nerve affects the skin of the forehead, scalp, eyebrow, and upper eyelid. The supratrochlear nerve affects the skin between the eyes and upper side of the nose. The zygomatic nerve affects the muscles of the upper part of the cheek. The branches of the fifth cranial nerve are affected by facial or lymphatic massage. The seventh cranial nerve, also known as the facial nerve, is the chief motor nerve of the face. It emerges near the lower part of the ear and extends to the muscles of the neck. Its divisions and their branches supply and control all the muscles of facial expression and the secretions of saliva. The following are the most important branches of the facial nerve. The buccal nerve affects the muscles of the mouth. The cervical nerves, branches of the facial nerve, affect the side of the neck and the platysma muscle. The mandibular nerve affects the muscles of the chin and lower lip. The posterior auricular nerve affects the muscles behind the ear at the base of the skull. The temporal nerve affects the muscles of the temple, side of the forehead, eyebrow, eyelid, and upper part of the cheek. The zygomatic nerve, upper and lower, affects the muscles of the upper part of the cheek. The 11th cranial nerve, also known as accessory nerve, is a type of motor nerve that controls the motion of the neck and shoulder muscles. This nerve is important to estheticians because it is affected during facials, primarily with massage. Cervical nerves originate at the spinal cord, and their branches supply the muscles and scalp at the back of the head and neck as follows. The cervical cutaneous nerve, located at the side of the neck, affects the front and sides of the neck as far down as the breastbone. The greater auricular nerve, located at the side of the neck, affects the face, ears, neck, and parotid gland. The greater occipital nerve, located in the back of the head, affects the scalp as far up as the top of the head. The smaller occipital nerve, also known as the lesser occipital nerve, located at the base of the skull, affects the scalp and muscles behind the ear. Nerves of the arm and hand. The principal nerves supplying the superficial parts of the arm and hand include, Figure 2.22. The digital nerve is a sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, supplies the fingers. The radial nerve is a sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, supplies the thumb side of the arm and back of the hand. The median nerve is a smaller sensory motor nerve than the ulnar and radial nerves. With its branches, it supplies the arm and hand. The ulnar nerve is a sensory motor nerve that, with its branches, affects the little finger side of the arm and palm of the hand. Did you know? The ulnar nerve runs along the bottom of the elbow. This explains why leaning on one's elbows for long periods can cause the little fingers to go numb. This is due to localized inflammation, irritation and swelling around the nerve. Vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is located in the abdominal cavity, but its function can impact the esthetician in a surprising way, so knowledge of its function is important. Figure 2.23. The vagus nerve is a nerve of the autonomic nervous system. When it overreacts to a trigger, it can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure, and the result is fainting. It is the most common cause of fainting. Some triggers are standing up too quickly, the sight of blood, stress, pain, and even pressing on certain areas of the throat, sinus cavities, and eyes. Check in. Compare and contrast the three divisions of the nervous system. What are the functions of the brain, brainstem, and spinal cord? What are the two types of nerves? Describe the nerves that affect the head, face, and neck. Outline how the circulatory system influences the health of the skin. The circulatory system, also known as cardiovascular system, controls the steady circulation of the blood through the body by means of the heart and blood vessels, veins and arteries. The circulatory system consists of the heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries for the distribution of blood throughout the body. How is this important? The circulatory system and the role it plays in nourishing and oxygenating the cells is important to the esthetician's ability to interpret skin reactions to treatments. Impaired circulatory function can create a sallowness in the skin, as the tissue is not being oxygenated. Impaired circulatory function can also delay healing times. Recognizing the fragility of cuprous skin, redness, distended capillaries from weakening of the capillary walls, and revising a treatment plan to benefit the client is a skill that comes from a knowledge of the circulatory system. Impaired circulatory conditions are often a contraindication to treatment. The heart. The heart is often referred to as the body's pump. Figure 2.24. It is a muscular, cone-shaped organ that keeps the blood moving within the circulatory system. The heartbeat is regulated by the vagus, 10th cranial, nerve and other nerves in the autonomic nervous system. In a normal resting state, the heart beats 72 to 80 times per minute. The blood is in constant and continuous circulation. Two systems ensure this circulation is intact. Pulmonary circulation carries the blood from the heart to the lungs to be oxygenated. Systemic circulation, also known as general circulation, carries the oxygenated blood from the heart throughout the body and back to the heart again. Blood vessels. The blood vessels are tube-like structures that include the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins. The function of these vessels is to transport blood to and from the heart and then on to various tissues of the body. The types of blood vessels found in the body are labeled in Figure 2.25. Arteries, thick-walled, muscular, flexible tubes that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the arterioles. The largest artery in the body is the aorta, aortia. Arterioles, small arteries that deliver blood to capillaries. Capillaries, tiny, thin-walled blood vessels that connect the smaller arteries to venules. Capillaries bring nutrients to the cells and carry away waste materials. Venules, small vessels that connect the capillaries to the veins. They collect blood from the capillaries and drain it into the veins. Veins, thin-walled blood vessels that are less elastic than arteries. They contain cup-like valves that keep blood flowing in one direction to the heart and prevent the blood from flowing backward. Veins carry blood containing waste products back to the heart and lungs for cleaning and to pick up oxygen. Veins are located closer to the outer skin surface of the body than arteries are. The blood. Blood is a nutritive fluid circulating through the circulatory system and is considered connective tissue because it connects body systems together, bringing oxygen, nutrients, and hormones and removing waste products. Did you know? An adult has over 60,000 miles, 96,561 kilometers, of blood vessels in their body. If you tied all of your blood vessels together, they would go around the Earth about 2.5 times. Quick facts. There are 8 to 10 pints, 3.8 to 4.7 liters, of blood in the human body. Sticky and salty. Normally 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 36 degrees Celsius. Functions of the blood. Blood performs the following critical functions. Carries water, oxygen, nutrition, and minerals to all cells and tissues of the body. Carries away carbon dioxide and waste products to be eliminated through the lungs, skin, and kidneys. Helps to equalize the body's temperature, thus protecting the body from extreme heat and cold. Aids in protecting the body from harmful bacteria and infections through the action of the white blood cells. Closes injured tiny blood vessels by forming clots, thus preventing blood loss. Composition of the blood. Blood is composed of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Red blood cells carry oxygen to the body cells. White blood cells perform the function of destroying disease-causing microorganisms. Platelets contribute to the blood clotting process, which stops bleeding. Plasma is the fluid part of the blood. It is about 90% water and contains proteins, sugars, and minerals. The main function of plasma is to act as a delivery system, carrying vital components, including nutrients, hormones, and minerals, to the cells and to take waste away from the cells. Arteries of the head, face, and neck. The common carotid arteries are the main source of blood supply to the head, face, and neck, figure 2.26. They are located on either side of the neck, and each one is divided into an internal and external branch. Veins of the head, face, and neck. The blood returning to the heart from the head, face, and neck flows on each side of the neck in two principal veins, the internal jugular vein and external jugular vein, figure 2.27. These veins run parallel to the carotid arteries. The external carotid artery branches off supplying blood to the face. The facial artery is the fourth branch of the external carotid artery. It is very flexible and strong. It can tolerate head movements, swallowing, and facial movements of the cheeks, lips, and jaws. The facial artery branches off into smaller arteries that specifically supply the cheeks, chin, ocular area, forehead, lips, and even the teeth. Facial vein branches return the blood to the external jugular, similarly from the same facial locations as the arteries. The facial vessels can be intimidating because they are so numerous, but they are very important for the esthetician to know. Understanding vessel locations can help you avoid bruising during a treatment or even the possible adverse event of a vessel occlusion during a dermal filler session. Check in. What is the body's pump? What two forms of circulation keep blood flowing to all parts of the body, and how do they work? List the types of blood vessels and their functions. List the components in blood and their functions. Describe the location of the arteries and veins that supply blood to the head, face, and neck and their functions. Explain the interdependence of the lymphatic, circulatory, and immune systems. The lymphatic/immune system is a vital factor to the circulatory and immune systems and is made up of the liver, lymph nodes, thymus gland, spleen, and lymph vessels that act as an aid to the circulatory system. The lymphatic and immune systems are closely connected in that they protect the body from disease by developing resistance to pathogens and destroying disease-causing microorganisms. The lymphatic system is closely connected to the circulatory system for the transportation of fluids, Figure 2.28. The difference is that the lymphatic system transports lymph fluid, and the circulatory system carries blood. The lymphatic system does not have its own pumping mechanism, like the heart. It relies on some actions in the circulatory system and the help of muscles to move lymphatic fluid. Manual lymphatic drainage, a specialized form of massage that assists in moving collections of lymphatic fluid, can be a very healing part of an esthetician's work. The liver is a gland located in the abdominal cavity. It secretes enzymes necessary for digestion, synthesizes proteins, and detoxifies the blood. It also regulates sugar levels in the blood, helps with the decomposition of red blood cells, and produces hormones needed for body functions. The spleen is a large lymph node, gland-like structures found inside lymphatic vessels that fights infection and detoxifies the blood. Lymph is a liquid composed of changing components in the interstitial fluid as the fluid is circulating throughout the body, dispersing white blood cells and cell nutrients, such as sugars, fats, and salts, as well as absorbing toxins and waste. Functions. The primary functions of the lymphatic system are to act as a defense against disease and invading bacteria and toxins by developing resistance. Drain tissue spaces of excess interstitial fluid in the blood. Interstitial fluid is a solution that bathes and surrounds the cells and provides the cells with nutrients and a method of removing cell waste. The fluid contains components that are involved in blood clotting and wound healing. Carry the excess fluid, waste, and impurities away from the cells. Aid in reducing swelling, inflammation, and accumulations in the blood vessels. How is this important? Many treatments performed on the skin create a mild wounding of the skin. Inflammation occurs due to the wounding. The immune system is alerted to relieve the inflammation and repair the wounding. Estheticians may perform lymphatic drainage, which improves lymphatic flow, reduces swelling, and stimulates circulation. Additionally, lymphatic drainage may create a sense of well-being and provide relaxation for the client. Body wraps must be performed with a technique that does not impede the flow of lymph. Understanding the lymphatic and immune systems is very important when treating the skin. A client with an autoimmune disease may require special consideration when you are recommending skin care regimens. A compromised immune system is often a contraindication for treatments. Check-in. Describe the functions of the lymphatic/immune system. Identify the glands that make up the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a group of specialized glands that affect the growth, development, sexual activities, and state of health in the entire body, Figure 2.29. Glands are specialized organs that produce chemicals, including hormones, necessary for various body systems to function optimally.